I argue that the shutdowns were way overblown, way overdone, and it led to a dramatic destruction of our economy needlessly, unnecessarily. It's my opinion. But when Biden came into office, he passed with the Congress's help two gigantic bills. I forget the name of one of them, but one of them was humorously and ridiculously named the Inflation Reduction Act. And all that did is pump in billions, if not close to $1 trillion of dollars into the economy. And again, this is a whole other topic, but that leads directly to inflation. When the government just prints money, it inevitably leads to inflation. There's just no other way to cut that. The Democrats sold us as needing to do it to help the economy because of COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Again, another topic. Wish we could have Thomas Sowell on as a guest to kind of tear that apart. But
We should try to hook that up.
yeah, we should. We got to get real popular here and make that happen. But point being, inflation was literally at 40-year highs. Now, the thing, I talked about it briefly in another episode, and I don't want to hit the point too hard, but what people do not understand, a lot of people don't understand, is that the analogy I use is if you're in a car and you hit the gas pedal and you're accelerating really fast. Take the speed away from it. Just the fact that you're accelerating really fast, that is inflation. Then you let the foot off the gas pedal. So let's say you get up to 100 miles per hour and you stay at 100 miles per hour. So you're going 100 miles per hour. It's pretty fast. But acceleration is zero. So inflation can be zero, but the previous acceleration, the previous inflation has led to a really high speed or a really high cost of everything. And that's where we are today. People don't understand. A lot of people still don't understand that the 40-year high, Jimmy Carter into the first part of Reagan, and of course Reagan defeated it. But the end of Carter's administration and the first couple years of Reagan's administration, our inflation under Joe Biden has not been as high. Sorry, our inflation under Joe Biden got to as high as that period 40 years ago, and that crushes the economy and it hurts people. So now all the young folks that are, getting college degrees and or just kind of go out to the workforce 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, could still, depending on the job and the income, afford a home, to buy a home, to put a down payment on a home or whatever, or to rent a home, single income. And that's getting closer and closer to impossible now, even with the best college degrees, because inflation has made that prices of everything go up and stay up. So even if inflation right now goes to zero, it's still hurting people because the only thing that makes up for it is wages, the average wages, and that's much harder to increase. The economy really has to grow and be really healthy and strong for a long time for wages to catch up to the price of inflation. So to your point earlier, I just wanted to highlight that because it's so important and people do not understand it, that the young people are still suffering. And even if our economy is better now than it was a year and a half ago, inflation is a lot lower than it was 2 years ago. No question about it, but it doesn't automatically fix things. People are still suffering economically, still can't, they get out of college with all kinds of debt. Or again, if they don't go to college, go into a trade, it takes a lot of time and money to be able to afford a home. It's much harder to raise a family, to get married, unless both people have a job, income, that kind of thing. So that is to your point where people see and they go, well, these conservatives talk about free market economies and conservative economic principles, but look at how much I'm suffering right now. And it's, again, another complicated argument, another complicated topic that takes a back and forth discussion and or debate to really peel the onion layer back. And once you explain it to people, like my analogy with the car and the accelerator, a light bulb goes on, but you need to have the opportunity to have that discussion with people, or they're just not going to know it. If you didn't learn economics, to understand those basic things, you're just not going to know. And I don't blame people for not knowing. If they haven't been taught it, they're not going to know. So that's where it's incumbent upon people like us to try to articulate things to people and again, have debates and learn where other people are coming from, because we're going to have our own blind spots.